In this video, I'm going to show you how you can level up your t-shirt designs. I'm going to take a design from a Redbubble shop, this one right here, and make some changes and let you know how you can make some changes to make your designs just a little bit better and stand out and give yourself a better chance of making some sales. Let's go. Thanks for joining me on this video. My name is Juno with Detour Shirts. I've been designing and selling t-shirts online since 2005, and my channel is all about helping you to design and sell t-shirts online. So if that's something you want to learn how to do, don't forget to hit that subscribe button right there to see all my videos. So in this video, I wanted to do something a little bit different. I get a lot of DMs asking me to look at their shops on Redbubble or on Merch by Amazon or things like that. And a lot of times people are asking me about their designs and how good their designs are, what I could do to change that. So I wanted to show you live here on a video what I would do to take a design like this one right here on Redbubble. So this is actually a person that DM'd me on Instagram, and I got their permission to use this design on this video so that I'm not just taking any random person's stuff on Redbubble. I'm actually using this with permission. So I'm going to show you step by step on the things I would do to change it and the reasons why I would change it to make this design just a little bit better, just stand out a little bit more. And I know there's lots of different ways you can do this. So I'm not saying in this video that this is the only way you can do it. There's lots of different ways that you can upgrade a design or change a design. And this is also not a guarantee that this design will sell. It's just going to incorporate some of the design principles that I've learned throughout the years for good t-shirt design. And I'll explain it on the video on the different steps. So lots to see in this video. You're going to want to stay till the end to see all the different steps and see the final product, see the final thing on this. So make sure to stay all the way to the end for that. So I'm going to be using Affinity Designer to make these changes. So let's get into Affinity Designer right now. So here we are on Affinity Designer. Here's the original design from Redbubble. Take a look at this. So it actually says, so I zoomed in here with the watermark so you can see why yes, actually I can drive a stick. So this is one of those trends from Halloween, and you can see kind of okay. This is something, there's some pros to this one. I'm gonna pull it over here so you can see it's not just text, right? It's not just text. So they actually did some arcs right here and they made it interesting with the curved text. They did use some graphics, which is pretty cool. So it's not just a text-based design. Graphic plus text designs do a lot better in my opinion. And then they're using only 2 fonts. A lot of times when people come in and do graphic design or t-shirt design for the first time, they use lots of different fonts, and you can see this person actually knows how to do graphic design. Because there's 2 fonts here and there's some graphics that they use. So there's a graphic of a broom here and the graphic here. One thing that you'll see if I zoom in here, this person actually does some graphic design or uses some graphic design stuff, because you can see a shadow right here too under the letters. So there's this color right here and then this other black and then there's like a gray here. So there's some cool stuff right there. And then this broom right here over the stick with the outline of black, right? So it is a cool graphic design, but for t-shirt design, I think you have to think about other things just besides this. So I would say this is kind of a medium graphic designer that's doing this stuff. They know their graphic design stuff. They can obviously knows how to do some drop shadows and putting text and graphics together, right? So I'm going to show you some other things, some other tricks that you can do to kind of level it up. So even one more level from this, instead of just text, I'm going to show you some things that you can actually improve on in this. So let's get started. I'm going to move this down. I put it all on this here. So the first thing I want to talk about is color. So you can see right away here, the color is actually dark on a black t-shirt. So if I go in here, it's really hard to read, right? So take a look at this back here again. When it's right here, you can read it, but it doesn't stand out. So imagine all the thumbnails together on Redbubble for this trend. People are not going to pull their eye towards here because it's kind of hard to read. I mean, you got this color right here which draws your eye, right? It's the contrast between the black and this orange here, but the actual text, the thing that you have to read, is actually harder to read. So this is what we're gonna do. We're gonna just color it white for now. So you can see the contrast between this and this, night and day, right? Literally, because you can see this real clear. Even if we backed up a little bit, this one actually stands out. So first thing I'm gonna do is just change the color. You can see just changing the color will give it just that little pop, a little bit more pop. And this is actually better in my opinion than this one right here. And all we did was change the color, and I took away that drop shadow. We don't need it. So I'm gonna zoom in here. You can see no drop shadow, it's just white text. I left, this is a different font than this one, but I left the distress texture right here that this one had, but it's still white, right? So even with that, the distress texture kind of pops out too over the black. So that's what I did on this one, just a pop of color. If you want to have your design stand out, make sure to look for that. Make sure that you have the right contrast that people can actually read it from far away, right? So that's step number one, is color. So step number two, let's move along here. And I want to talk about emphasis. So when you're picking a phrase, you got to think about the phrase here. So this phrase says, why yes, actually I can drive a stick. So that's the joke right here. The emphasis is stick. And in this design, in the first design, we had the stick, which is the broom, which I don't think we actually need, because we get the joke right here that the witch is on the broom here. So we don't need another broom right here that says stick. So I'm going to take that out. But I wanted to highlight this word. You can see this one's kind of thin, this font right here. I'm going to use a thicker font and kind of drive that emphasis toward a stick, right? Because that's the joke. The joke is, yes, actually I can drive a stick is the punchline, right? So I made a stick a lot bigger, and you may be wondering what these fonts are. So I put it here for you. This one right here is Brawl's typeface rough. I think I mentioned that before in a former video. And this is Thirsty Rough, a stick right here. And then I drew this right there, that line. Just to emphasize it even more, I underlined it, right? So not only is it big in a different font, but I underlined it to make it stand out even more. So emphasis, when you're looking at the phrase, you want to give the emphasis to the thing that should have the emphasis, right? And in this case, it is a stick. So you can see I'm actually making it a little taller too, because the word's a little bigger, but it's still that tall rectangle, right? So you want to still make it that tall rectangle. If it becomes way too tall, then it's not going to fit on your shirt. But if it's just a little taller than it is wider, that's fine. So I think we're still fine here. We still got the same integrity that we had before with the curved text right here, but this time I made this straight. I can drive a stick instead of curved, just so that these two kind of work together. And I still think it works like this. So after adding color, I added emphasis, and you can see just going from this step, what we had before, to this step, makes it stand out too, because I also used a stick right here to stand out, make that word stand out a little bit better than this one. It's bigger, it's bolder, it's easier to read, right? So emphasis, don't forget about where to put your emphasis on your t-shirt. It should have one on the t-shirt. It doesn't have to be everything on the t-shirt or everything on the design, but there should be some kind of emphasis, something that stands out on your design. So the next thing I wanted to talk about is the graphic. So this graphic is okay. You can see it does match what we're trying to talk about. Why yes, actually I can drive a stick. But there's two things that I want to improve about this graphic. First, it's really small. The witch in this case is the main thing. That's what we're talking about. Why yes, actually I drive a stick. Who's driving a stick? A witch is driving a stick. I'm the witch. I'm wearing the t-shirt, right? So it should be bigger than this. The witch in this case is kind of small in the graphic, so it kind of gets hidden. You can see the pumpkins is actually the star in this graphic, not the witch, right? Secondly, the witch here is an ugly witch or a wicked witch. Now, when you say, why yes, actually I drive a stick, what you're thinking about is maybe think of more of Hermione than Wicked Witch of the West, right? So you want someone that's a cool witch, a sassy witch, some kind of witch like that. And so this graphic doesn't match, because if I'm looking at myself and I'm thinking and I'm buying this shirt, you have to get into the thought of the customer who's going to buy this. Do I want to say that I'm a wicked witch? Do I want to say that I'm an ugly witch? Or do I want to say that I'm a cool witch, or I'm a sassy witch, like Hermione witch, right? So young, sassy, cool witch, and that's what I got here. So let me show you where I got this design from, this graphic from. So you can go anywhere online to go find a graphic. I'm here on Creative Fabrica, but you could go to Vexels, you could go, you know, so many different places. Creative Market probably has something. I'm gonna just type in here, witch on broom, just like that. And you can see there's lots of different witches on brooms, but we want to look for one that we can use that's maybe a young sassy witch or something like that. Let's see, let's scroll down. So let's go down here, and here, right here, I'm going to use this one. It's only $1, so I can just pay $1, add it to my cart, and download it. And you can see it is, let's see, EPS, PNG, perfect. It's a vector file, great. And I can use that. And you can see, I'm gonna zoom in here, you can see just a nice, this is not a wicked witch, right? This is more of a young witch, so I think this will work. I don't need this lantern here, so I'm gonna take that out in the vector, but you can see nice broom here, nice big vector thing. So I'm gonna use this, I'm gonna take it, put it on Affinity Designer, and you'll see this is the exact one that I used. So, all right, so you can see right here, this is the design I'm using. If I zoom in here, you can see the face, a lot nicer than this wicked witch face, right? This is just a nice soft face, just showing that, you know, I'm a young witch, I can drive stick, right? And then I'm just using the bats. These are the same bats from right here in this one. And I took away the pumpkins. You can see it's coming together, and it's a lot bigger than this witch right here. Now it's the star graphic. It's the main graphic, because that's what this is talking about. I can drive a stick, yes, right here. One other thing I'm gonna change is I'm gonna make it, and we could do it just like this, but I'm gonna make a little change to make this stand out a little better. So I'm gonna still take the same circle, that same oval right here, but I'm just gonna use it as an outline. And I'm gonna take the outline of the witch here and put it in orange instead. So I'm gonna make this the graphic, so you can see how this kind of pops now, right? So I put the moon behind here because I like the contrast between the orange and the white, and the bats I made orange again. And so this, I think, will actually stand out. And because I have this orange, I can color this orange. Let's move out like that. Or, you know, you could take the circle, the oval out entirely and maybe add some stars and stuff like that. So lots of different ways you can do this, but the reason why I took it out of the oval is so that I can make it stand out even more. So this is what we're talking about, right? Why, yes, actually I can drive stick. Who? The witch. And so the witch needs to be bigger, and so people can relate to that. So we got the two things here, emphasis on a stick and also emphasis on the graphic, right? So let me show you what it ended up looking like on a t-shirt, the before and after. So before, this is it. Remember, kind of hard to read, the graphics a little small, stick isn't standing out, right? But we had that broom right here, and here's the after. So this is what I would do. Again, this isn't a perfect design, but you can see some of the principles that I'm using here to add emphasis, to have contrast, to emphasize what the thing actually is, and also to relate to the customer. So the customer probably is a young woman who can relate to a witch, right? So in that case, maybe a young sassy witch or something like that, but definitely not a old hag witch, right? Not a wicked witch. So we wanted to do that so they can relate to this. Yeah, I know how to drive a stick. I think it's really funny. And so I put that on here. And so I like the way this turned out. I think this, again, if I'm seeing both of these together, it's always a competition on Redbubble. You're going to have, you know, all these different ones. So you want to give the person who's buying, the user or the buyer, a reason to stop and look at your stuff over this one. So people might just scroll by this one, and hopefully they give this one a second look because it's standing out with the white. They can read it, you know, maybe they can relate to it and think it's funny. So give yourself a better chance of making a sale by just putting those little touches, those little extra things, thinking about those little things there, color, emphasis, and the graphic, a strong graphic that can relate to the customer. And I think that will give you a better chance of making a sale on Redbubble. So that is it for this video. Thanks so much for watching. Hopefully this video brought you a lot of value, and if it did, make sure to give it a thumbs up. And if you're not subscribed already, make sure to hit that subscribe button so you can see all my videos. I wanted to finish this video with a question of the day, and the question of the day is this: what are some things that you would have changed on this design? Let me know in the comments. I know there's some other things that other people would make, some other decisions. I'm only one person, and these are the things I would change, but I'm sure there are some other things that you might change in the design. Let me know in the comments what you would do. I'd love to hear your take on it. And if you want to see other videos like this on what to do for designing t-shirts and different trends, click on these videos right here. And as always, guys, keep creating and keep learning. I'll see you on the next one. Bye.